UFC Fight Night, Israel Adesanya versus Joe Pyfer goes down this Saturday night. This is a huge fight for Israel Adesanya's career, and Joe Pyfer is obviously a massive jump up in competition for Joe Pyfer. Never fought a guy like Israel Adesanya before. However, for Israel Adesanya, he's on a four-fight skid. Four-fight skid, yeah. He lost to Imavov last time out, DDP, Strickland. He's on a three-fight skid. We take that back. However, they're all elite fighters in the division. This is a big test. Easy washed. Will he go out there and lose to a guy like Joe Pyfer, who's on the come up, young prospect, not proved himself? Easy's got a lot to prove. Pyfer's big, massive chance for Joe Pyfer to get himself in that top five. We'll find out in a minute who I'm picking. But before we get into that, I'm going to break down the entire card from start to bottom. Yeah, let's get into it. First fight of the night, we've got ranked fighter Alexa Tainara taking on Bruna Brazil. She is in the Fighting Nerds. She's 11-6, but they don't talk about that because the Fighting Nerds are trying to paint some narrative that they're the best group in the world, that they've got all this aura. But Bruna Brazil is part of the Fighting Nerds. She's absolutely shit. She's had 2 wins in the UFC. Could you tell me who they're against? Yeah, that's right. Molly McCann and Shauna Bannon. She's a UK WMA fighter's worst nightmare. However, her opponent, Alexa Tainara, has beaten Molly McCann herself, went out there, submitted her last year at UFC London, and after that, she's gone out there and beaten a solid fighter in this division, a solid striker to earn her ranking. Loma Lookboon by decision, which is very impressive. Loma Lookboon's a pretty good fighter in this division, to be fair to her. Whereas last time out, Bruna Brazil went out there, she lost to Wang Kong, and got mogged by, was it Ketlin Souza? Yeah, I'm pretty sure Ketlin Souza went out there and beat her. Obviously, that's not why she's going to lose. However, I just think Alexa Tainara will be too fast on the feet for her, land the strikes, more volume, has a bigger grappling threat. And I think she will win a decision over Bruna Brazil. I don't really care, let's be honest. Nobody cares about Alexa Tainara or Bruna Brazil, really. Next fight, Ricky Simone versus Adrian Yanez. Now, if this fight was made in 2022, this would have been fucking huge. These were the two dark horses of the bantamweight division. However, they've both had jump ups and failed. They've gone out there and lost to guys like Song Yudong. Adrian Yanez has just lost time out against Daniel Marcos. And he's had a couple of injuries and he's been out of action for a long time. Ring rust will get the better of him. You can see in the picture he's got the old gen shorts on. Ricky Simone last time out, pretty sure he went out there and lost to Hani Barcelos, which is not a bad loss. Hani Barcelos is a good fighter. He colded one of the Bashrat bros, the shit one that got cut, and beat Cameron Smotherman. So it's Ricky Simone staying pretty active, got a couple of decent wins, however, has lost in his last fight to a solid fighter who should be ranked, by the way. Hani Barcelos should be in the top 15. Yeah. Ricky Simone, if we look at the physiques, I know physiques don't win fights, but Ricky Simone absolutely frame logs Adrian Yanez. He's the more stocky guy, thicker, something like that, let's be honest. Adrian Yanez kind of looks like a mix of Brandon Royval and Sean O'Malley. Tall for the division, lanky though, not very muscly. I think Ricky Simone will be able to use his physicality, get the takedowns when necessary. I think he'll be the fastest guy on the feet. Adrian Yanez has pops in his shot though. Pops in his shot, yeah, pops in his shot. And we'll be able to put Ricky Simone out if he lands cleanly on the chin. However, I think Ricky Simone will win a decision. Get himself back in the win column. And on the upward trajectory in the bantamweight division, I just think Adrian Yanez, the inactivity will play into it, the ring rust. And I think Ricky Simone's too fast and has a very good chin, very durable. Be able to take down Yanez if the fight gets a bit, scrappy. Yeah, I think Ricky Simone will do enough to get a decision win over Adrian Yanez. Tough for Yanez if this happens, obviously, after a long layoff. Next up, undefeated prospect Navajo Sterling. But I don't think so. That, to be honest, if we look at his UFC resume, I'm pretty sure he's only beaten guys like Rodolfo Gelato. What's the guy's name? Urslan, people like that aren't very good at all. Shouldn't be in UFC. He's 8-0. However, he's not getting finishes. We see like heavyweights like Iwo Baranetsky, real prospects, going out there just dusting up guys in 30 seconds. Navajo Sterling's gone out there. He's had problems against guys like Ivan Urslan in the third early on. I don't think Navajo Sterling has a good chin on him. To be honest, I've seen him get in trouble with these bums in the division. I do, however, think he beats Bruno Lopez. Bruno Lopez himself is not good at all. Bottom of the barrel, beats some random Russian guy over 5 rounds. Fucking hell, 3 rounds. Last time out, got colded by Dustin Jacoby. That's not an embarrassing loss. Dustin Jacoby is a very good light heavyweight. However, I just think Navajo Sterling will be too quick on the feet, too defensively sound. We know he's an incredible counter striker at the CKB. If Bruno Lopez hasn't really got the grappling threat to take him down and control him, I just think Navajo Sterling will go out there and get another decision win. Maybe you could get a TKO. Bruno Lopez isn't all that Maybe he gets a bit wild at the end. Navajo Sterling gets a late finish. Yeah, Navajo Sterling's not really the type of guy that just goes up there and smokes guys in 5-10 seconds like you are Baraneski. Guys like that. Yeah. But I do think he beats guys like Bruno Lopez. Give me Navajo Sterling by decision. Bruno Lopez. Next up, Cassie O'Neill versus Gabriela Fernandez. She has the mix of the worst two possible accents, Scottish and Australian. That is an awful mix. Never mix. However, she's taken on Gabriela Fernandez, decent little prospect herself. You know, we saw how she fluked Wang Kong. Yes, she fluked Wang Kong. Last time out, beat a bum, Julia Stolarenko. You know, Molly McCann, victim. No. Oh my fucking god, that's the guy that beat Molly. The girl that beat Molly McCann. Yeah, she's beaten Julia Stolarenko, the woman that subbed Molly McCann. Wow, this is just a card. This just shows how shit Molly McCann is. We're not even talk about Molly McCann. Yeah, Gabriela Fernandez fluked Wang Kong like Charles Oliveira in his prime, and beat Julia Stolarenko. So two alright wins. Wang Kong would absolutely smoke her in a rematch. But Casey O'Neill and herself coming off of a long layoff, beat a decent prospect at the time, Luana Santos. I think it was at UFC 305. Yeah, she's been out a long time. However, I think she wins a decision against Gabriela Fernandez. I don't think she's much bigger. Like it doesn't look it. She's the more lanky fighter. She'll have the longer reach. She can keep her at bay. Decent grappling. We see Luana Santos. She shook off all the takedown attempts from Luana Santos. Gabriela Fernandez hasn't got all that on the feet. And I think Casey O'Neill can get away to a comfortable decision win, defending the takedowns, landing the shots. It'll be a very boring fight. I don't suspect a finish here. I just think Casey O'Neill is a better fighter. Is she ranked? Pretty sure yeah. Number 12, number 14, yeah. Casey O'Neill should get the job done by decision. I don't really care. She's got a funny voice. That's about it. Next up, Marcin Tybura versus Tyrell Fortune. I mean, just look at this guy. Look how intimidating Tyrell Fortune looks. Absolutely mogs Marcin Tybura. But I've been on the fence here. You know, let's just say this fight goes one of two ways. Tybura smudges him, gets a sub, or Fortune smokes him. Tybura, 40 years of age, coming off of a fluke robbery win against Mick Parkin. Big Mick beat Marcin Tybura. And a smudge. No, he's not coming off two wins. He beat Jonathan Diddy's after that. And then, yeah. I've lost for him. What's his name? Fuck. Anthony Delija. Absolutely smoked him. UFC Paris on his debut. So he's 40 years of age, only getting worse. Marcin Tybura is a fucking slob. Trudge at you on the feet. I I don't really rate Tyrell Fortune, but Marcin, I'm pretty yeah. Marcin Tybura is apparently the 8th best heavyweight in the world. That is not true. Many fighters in the regional scene would beat him, and I do think Tyrell Fortune is going to KO Marcin Tybura. He's far too slow on the feet. Yes, he's on short notice for Tyrell Fortune. It should have been Walter Walker. I just think Tyrell Fortune, this is his time. He's never going to get a better opportunity than fighting the 8th ranked guy on your debut, whether it be on short notice or not. It's heavyweight MMA. That if you want to take a fight on short notice, you'd want it to be in heavyweight MMA. That doesn't like you don't really need a fucking training camp. Some of the fucking state of these guys. Yeah. I just think Tyrell Fortune would be too fast for him on the feet. Yeah, we've seen him get taken down. There is a chance Tybura can take him down and smudge him. However, I just think he's so shit on the feet. He'll just trudge at Tyrell Fortune. And I think Tyrell Fortune will be able to put the shots away and put Marcin Tybura down and get a TKO win. And get himself ranked number 8th in the world. Wow, this heavyweight division is shit. I don't rate Tyrell Fortune. I just think Tybura is completely finished and washed. You may shock me now. Next up, Chase Hooper versus Lance Gibson Jr. Now this is a weird fight. You know, we've seen Chase Hooper just get absolutely destroyed by Alexander Hernandez at UFC 314. I'm pretty sure it was something like that. Was it? No, it wasn't that card. It was like 320 or something. I can't remember. Last year anyway. Showing real weaknesses on the feet, and we've seen Chase Hooper get destroyed on the feet by guys like Steve Garcia in the past. Obviously, Steve Garcia is a fucking marauder, but yeah. Let's just say if Chase Hooper cannot get Lance Gibson Jr. down, Lance Gibson Jr. can probably outstrike him. He had a competitive fight with Bobby Green. People forget that fight was on 4 days' notice. Lance Gibson Jr. is okay on the feet. However, I think Chase Hooper will get the takedowns and get a submission or a decision win over Lance Gibson Jr. I don't really rate Lance Gibson Jr. that highly grappling wise. Chase Hooper's an elite grappler. However, the striking is shit. So I will always pick Chase Hooper to beat these guys like Lance Gibson Jr. who don't have that pop on the feet like a guy like Alexander Hernandez. Yeah, we Chase Hooper by submission maybe in the first. Looking to redeem himself after that embarrassing loss against Alexander Hernandez. Next up, why and another thought. Let me just say something now. This whole hold on, we'll get to Bahamondes in a minute. Ignacio Bahamondes to think Messiah could easily be main card. Hooper could easily be main card. Ranked heavyweight fight could easily be main card. Not the two women. Ricky Simone, Adrian Yanez could easily be main card. Yet we've got Julian Rosa, Leran Douglas, and Michael Chiesa, Nico Price on the main card. What is this matchmaking from the UFC? We saw it last week at UFC London. Sort it out. Anyway, oh shit, what am I doing? Where are we? Ignacio Bahamondes was Tafik Masayev. Tafik Masayev he's had a very good career outside of the UFC. However, since transitioning into the UFC, got absolutely destroyed by Martabek Orobai in his debut. Pretty much threw himself on bottom position, and Martabek Orobai, as we saw against Chris Curtis, is an incredibly good grappler and will punish you on the ground. I'm very high on the Martabek Orobai train. However, that fight against Chris Curtis was fucking boring. Nevertheless, Tafik Masayev 0-1 in the UFC. This is a very tough matchup for him. Ignacio Bahamondes took this on short notice, I'm pretty sure. Can't remember who he was set to fight because I don't really care about Tafik Masayev, but we're here to talk about the fight. Ignacio Bahamondes, on the other hand, went out there last time at UFC Baku, the same card as Tafik Masayev. Yeah, he got pretty much bitched on the feet by Rafael Fiziev for 3 straight rounds and lost his way to lost the decision to Rafael Fiziev, who's not a bad fighter. We did see Rufi just chin him earlier in the year, but I rate Ignacio Bahamondes. I think he beats guys like Tafik Masayev. He's 6'3" with a 75-inch reach in the lightweight division. Not many guys are going to be able to do that, beat that. We saw him dismantle an incredible prospect in Manuel Torres by using the reach and the range and his height. And I think he will get a KO win over Tafik Masayev. In the second, I think Tafik Masayev will go out there. Bahamondes can be caught. People put him on the back foot. You can land shots at him. However, I just think he's too high level of a striker. Trains at a great gym. I know he trains with Bilal Muhammad. Yes, it's Bilal Muhammad, but he's an incredible fighter, Bilal Muhammad. Incredible grappling. And I think he could even take down Tafik Masayev and get his way to a decision win if necessary, but I do think he will keep this fight on the feet. And I think he can get a TKO win over Tafik Masayev, who's another one of these guys that's a marauder outside of the UFC, transitioning into the UFC, fights a couple of guys UFC level and gets exposed. Give me Ignacio Bahamondes by KO. Get himself back in the win column after a tough loss in his ranked opportunity against Rafael. Is he ranked? He's not ranked, is he? No, he's not ranked. Against Rafael Fiziev. Onto the main card. This is a fight that deserves to be on the main card. Terence McKinney versus Carl Nelson. Now, what are the odds this fight doesn't go out the first round? They're going to be very fucking high. Terence McKinney, you see his record 17-8. I'm pretty sure 90% of his fights finish in the first round either by W for him or loss. He is a just throw sales to the wind, just go out there, have a fucking scrap, throw for a minute, throw from second one. Obviously, we've seen him be the hammer. Pardon me. We've seen him be the nail guy, like losses to Christian Leroy Duncan. Oh, Chris Duncan last time out, UFC 323. Chris Duncan's very good. Wins over Frezian, Matt Frivola, guys like that. Yeah, I'm going to pick Terence McKinney to KO Carl Nelson in the first. I think he'll be too fast for Carl Nelson. And also, the grappling of Terence McKinney's improved a lot. We saw Carl Nelson have a war with Matt Frivola last time out. Carl Nelson's been chinned early before against guys like Diego Ferreira. He also lost to Matt Frivola himself. No, he didn't. He beat Matt Frivola. Yeah. Nevertheless, I don't think Carl Nelson's all that. You've got to be a very good striker, very durable, have a good grappling threat, or be extremely powerful. I don't think Carl Nelson is either of those. He is not powerful. He is not an elite grappler like Shem Rochlad. I think Terence McKinney will finish him in the first by whatever he wants. He could drop him, and that could be the end of the fight, or he could drop him and sub him. This is what he does. This is what Terence McKinney does. He will get a first round finish over Carl Nelson. Open up the main card. Second fight on the main card. This is a very good fight. Mansour Abdul Malik versus Yusuri Balagrui. Alex Pereira's teammate had an incredible debut against Azamat Bakoev, an upset win. 6'6" in the middleweight division. He's going to be fucking huge in the cage against Mansour Abdul Malik. And it was kind of an underrated pick to pick Yusuri Balagrui as the week has gone on. He seems to be the favourite in this fight. It's got me a bit uncertain because this now too obvious to pick Yusuri Balagrui, how you say his name. I'm still going to pick Yusuri Balagrui. I think the striking is too good. However, due to Mansour Abdul Malik's grappling threat, I think he will hold Yusuri Belaguri down for a round, or maybe get him down at moments in rounds. Belaguri will get his way back up to defeat. Trains at a great gym with Glover Teixeira, Alex Pereira. We've seen the massive improvements in Alex Pereira's grappling, and I'm sure he would have improved massively as well. He's not too young, so if the UFC are probably going to want to fast track him. He's got that Alex Pereira affiliation, and I think he can go out there and get a decision win over Mansour Abdul-Malik. We've seen Mansour Abdul-Malik go to war with guys like Cody Brundage, was it Nico Price? No, that was Kobe Smith. Who's he had war with? Nick Klein, Dusko Tordovich, guys like that in the division who are fucking bums. I don't think Yusari Belaguri is a bum. I think he will get his way to a decision win over Mansour Abdul-Malik and ruin that undefeated record. I just think he's too powerful on the feet, too quick. Mansour Abdul-Malik has never fought anyone like that on the feet, and he's looked shaky with his bottom of the barrel competition, just like Navajo Sterling has done. And I think we see him lose his undefeated status, and Yasuri Belaguri get another win in the UFC. Oh my days! I've been looking forward to this fight all week. I've been watching the Larian Douglas tape, and oh my god, this motherfucker looks incredible. His Dana White Contender Series performance, his last two performances on LFA, I want to say, whatever. He KO'd Javier Reyes. You all know Javier Reyes now. Went out there and beat Douglas Silva de Andrade on that UFC Mexico card. He got chinned on that. Chinned? He got dropped by Douglas Silva de Andrade, and then come back and won in his on the regional scene against Larian Douglas. Douglas put him out cold, destroyed him. I'm really high on the Larian Douglas hype train, and I think he gets a first round KO over Juliana Rosa. Juliana Rosa's far too wild, scrappy on the feet. We'll leave that chin there for Larian Douglas to hit. Larian Douglas is very clinical. He loves that little left hook to the overhand right finish. Don't be surprised if you see him drop Juliana Rosa with that. Juliana Rosa is very durable. However, he is not technical enough or powerful enough or has a high enough grappling threat to give a guy like Larian Douglas problems. This is an absolute layup. I mean, we saw Juliana Rosa have a bit of an ugly fight with Marcos Acosta. Just gritted his way to a decision, made it ugly for a technical striker like Marcos Acosta. However, I actually think Larian Douglas is more powerful than Marcos Acosta, and I think he will connect in the pocket and put Juliana Rosa down and get a TKO win, maybe even a KO. The guy hits very fucking hard. You know, Juliana Rosa's a vet. It's a tough fight in your debut to fight a vet like Juliana Rosa. He's still got it. We see him go out there against Darren Helkins. That was a pretty ugly fight. No, Juliana Rosa's not an aesthetically pleasing fighter. Whereas Juliana Douglas is. He's very technical, and I think he will KO Juliana Rosa. I'd be surprised if it goes to the decision, though. Juliana Rosa seems to have a chin of steel. Yeah, I'm very high on the Lariat Douglas hype train. However, the grappling could be a threat in the future. I just don't think he'll get fraud checked or exposed by a guy like Juliana Rosa. Give me Lariat Douglas to win by KO. Feature fight of the card. Wow, this is so high level. Such a high level fight. Michael Chiesa versus Nico Price. I mean, we all want to see these real title aspirations in the line here for these two guys. The winner will probably get a title shot against Islam Makhachev. It's Michael Chiesa's retirement fight. Yes, he's a legend. He's not really a legend, is he? He's just been in the sport for years. You give him layup after layup because Conor McGregor threw a fucking chair at him and you didn't sue your bum asses. You've literally given him a job on ESPN desk, commentate these shitty fucking Dana White Contender Series fights and fight night events in the office with fucking Anthony Smith. Michael Chiesa does not deserve this. He's been given layup after layup. He fought Walt Harris, guy's name. I've written it down somewhere. What's the motherfucker's name? Give me a second. This is professional shit. Court McGee, Max Griffin, Tony Ferguson. Layup after layup after layup. He has good grappling, don't get me wrong, but I think he submits Nico Price. Nico Price is completely shit. The dodo bird will go extinct. And I think Chiesa gets a submission win on his retirement fight. Nico Price offers absolutely nothing. Got chinned by Bekretinov 2 months ago. Taking this fight on short notice. Not a good look for him, really. What is he going to do to Michael Chiesa? Michael Chiesa's grappling is too good for a guy like Nico Price. He's not even... I thought Nico Price would be the bigger guy here, but apparently Michael Chiesa is bigger than him. Yeah, give me Chiesa by sub. I'm glad he's retiring because they keep feeding him layup after layup after layup because he's their boy. They like Michael Chiesa for some reason. You know, Nico Price has gone out there. Yeah, he had a decent fight. Not last time, the time before that against the top prospect, what's his name, Jacoby Smith. But I just think Michael Chiesa will be able to get him down and probably get a Darce choke. Michael Chiesa's grappling is pretty good. Can't strike for shit though. Give me Michael Chiesa by sub. Just get this shit over with. Cut them both. We do not care. Why is that on the co-main event? Feature fight of the card. Give me Michael Chiesa by submission though. Oh, co-main event. Alexa Grasso versus Macy Barber. I really like Alexa Grasso. However, I just think she's not top level. Let's be honest. She Leon Edwards maxed to win her title shot, a fluke win over a legend of the sport. Shevchenko, as boring as she may be, she's very fucking good. She's got a lot of cheeky, was it rear naked choke? She took the back of Shevchenko, submitted her, then got a robbery decision in the rematch in Mexico just so she could keep the belt for a bit longer. And then got wrestle fucked in the Noche card. Macy Barber, on the other hand, coming off a decent win. Who is it she beat? Viviana Araujo, I want to say. Someone like that. Someone not too great, but we all remember her fight against Erin Blanchfield. What a fight that was against Erin Blanchfield. However, I think Macy Barber type of fighters are Alexa Grasso's kryptonite. Pressure fighters on the feet. She's pretty durable, has a solid chin. Alexa Grasso doesn't really hit all that hard. I know she's a stand-up boxer, you could say, with decent jiu-jitsu. She trains with Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez clapping that. I mean, fair play, Diego Lopez. But I think Macy Barber will get a decision win over Alexa Grasso. The grappling, I think she can hold Alexa Grasso down at times. She'll be in Alexa Grasso's face, backing her up against the cage. We saw Alexa Grasso not do very well in the counter-striking against Natalia Silva. And I thought Natalia Silva was a top prospect after beating Alexa Grasso. We saw her struggle with Rose Namajunas. Arguably, Rose Namajunas won that fight. So yeah, I think Alexa Grasso is on the decline. She's literally Leon Edwards 2.0 if he was a Mexican female. Give me Macy Barber to win a decision. I think she'll pressure Alexa Grasso up against the cage, land more output. Alexa Grasso just likes to stand there, look menacing like Leon Edwards does. You know what? Alexa Grasso is Leon Edwards. I'm picking Macy Barber to get a decision when she'll take her down whenever she wants. Alexa Grasso's scrapping's a bit sus. I think she may even get a submission if Alexa Grasso gets tired. I'm assuming it's 3 rounds. I'm praying it's 3 rounds. I do not want to sit at 4 a.m. watch this shit for 5 rounds. I'm going to pick Macy Barber by decision. I think the grappling, pressure will be too much for Alexa Grasso, and sadly, she is not an elite fighter anymore. Even if she beats Macy Barber, she's never touching the belt again. However, the UFC love her, so they may give her an instant title shot. Who the fuck knows? The main event time: Israel Adesanya versus Joseph Pyfer. Who am I going to pick? No, Israel Adesanya is washed. However, he's still going to beat Joe Pyfer. Israel Adesanya will beat Joe Pyfer by decision. There is a high likelihood that this pick is awfully wrong and Joe Pyfer will nuke him or sub him early. We've seen Izzy have struggle with his whole career with takedowns and boxing style. We see guys like Robert Whittaker early on giving problems. Obviously, Strickland dominated him. 5 straight rounds on the stand-up. Imavov KO'd him, however that dirty fucking French cunt eye poked him. Then he KO'd him, so fuck Imavov. DDP subbed him. He was looking very good in those fights, though. The DDP and the Imavov fight. Whoa, spit it out. That cunt's name, I can't even say it. Imavov fight. Israel Adesanya was looking very good in. Israel Adesanya won round 1 against Imavov. He may have been up on the scorecards before he got submitted by DDP. Typical Adesanya had a weakness in the grappling and DDP exploited it. However, who is Joe Pyfer beating, really? Let's be honest. Joe Pyfer's best wins are Kelvin Gastelum, Abus Magomedov. Fuck, this could age horribly. I think Joe Pyfer has not faced a guy on the feet like Adesanya. Adesanya's not just going to leave his chin in the air like that. Here, Joe, right here, mate. Just fucking chin me. Adrian Adesanya's going to spam the low kicks. He's an incredible counter-striker. He's made a whole career of counter-striking. The only guys he's lost to, as I've said, are elite fighters. I don't really think Joe Pyfer's an elite fighter. He can be in the future. As of now, Joe Pyfer's not an elite fighter. Relies heavily on that power. Yes, he nuked Marc-Andre Barrios. Yes, he's nuked these bottom-of-the-barrel guys. Israel Adesanya is not a bottom-of-the-barrel middleweight. He's one of the goats of the sport. And I think he will craft his way to a decision win. Output on the feet, counter-striking. Could even get a late TKO if Joe Pyfer gets fucking wild and overthrows, but Izzy doesn't really finish fights. Yeah. I'm picking Israel Adesanya, the last style bender, to beat Joe Pyfer by decision. I could be wrong. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you again for watching. Drop a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, let's enjoy the card and pray my picks are good. Thank you again.